Hi there! I'm going to show you how I made both of these art journal pages. But first, I want to tell you about a few changes that I'm going to be making to my videos. First, since this is a process video, I will be showing the process portion at the very beginning of the video and the show and tell portion at the end. However, if you want to jump to the show and tell portion only, if that's all you're interested in, I'm going to include a link to the place where it starts in the video in the description box below. So if you're interested, you can go there, click on it to see only the show and tell. The other change that I am making is that I'm going to try to spotlight a channel at the beginning of my videos. It will be a channel and a video that I have watched and enjoyed recently, and I just want to tell everyone about it. Encourage you to go visit and support the other YouTube artists. The channel that I'm spotlighting today is Sigrid Soto. There's a clickable link to her channel in the description box below. Sigrid does a lot of mixed media art, beading, and ventures into art journaling. She recently uploaded a video where she unveils the most interesting art journal covers. I subscribed to Sigrid's channel the very minute I heard her say, "I'll figure it out." Hi there. I have some journal pages that I need to work on, and I think I showed you these pages that I did as a background challenge to Gina Ahrens, and they've all dried now, and I said that I would show them as they were dried. This was the red one, and I used a net ribbon and some mesh in the background and some text pages, and I used, I believe it was Mod Podge, and I sprayed dilutions into there. On this one, I used modeling paste and I think I used glass bead gel on this one too. Did I use? No, I used glass bead gel on the other one. This one I used modeling paste and Radiant Rain. I got this beautiful copper color. See that beautiful coppery color? It's very shiny in real life. And dilution sprays. On this one, I used, on this blue one over here, I used chocolate and dilution sprayed into Mod Podge and glass bead gel. But what I want to show you to this, when I was doing these, I was testing. Let me get a towel here. I was testing to see if my Mod Podge would stabilize. Dilutions ink sprays are very water reactive. And I was thinking that if I would spray them into my Mod Podge, that they would act as a glue and stabilize my dilutions. But I want to show you, these do not have fixative on them yet. I've sprayed a paper towel. There's just water in here. And I want to show you, these have been drying for several days. And I can just take my wet paper towel and rub it across there, and you can see that, yes, I don't want to wipe too much of it off, but yes, I am still, this ink will still rub off. It will, it's, what do I want to say? It isn't like it will totally rub off, but if a page would get wet, it will rub off. Now I can do the same thing on the one that I sprayed into the modeling paste. Now this time I just sprayed it on the page, the water on the page itself. And look, I can just rub on it and look at my paper towel. On this one I just wet the towel and wiped it off. This one I sprayed it on the page itself. Same thing will happen on the blue one. Let me just spray some water here. So if your page got wet for some reason, maybe you're just working on it. See, look how bad that wipes off. So the conclusion is This Dilutions inks they are, at least the Dilutions, I don't know if the other, they're not a permanent, even if you spray them into a Mod Podge or glue background. So I want to show you this, and I'm going to take these pages outside and on my patio, and I'm going to spray them with some fixative, and then I'm going to come in and work on my journal page. The theme of the journal page is I'm So Pretty, but I am going to base it off of my poster, and I'll show you that poster in the next segment, which says every woman loves beautiful things. And I've gone through my stash up here, and I have several things that I want to attach to these pages. So that's where I'm going with this. I'm going to go spray fixative on these, and then I will be back. Hi there, I'm back. I have sprayed these with fixative now, and I kind of want to show you how spraying with the fixative helps them not to run so much. I have water in here, and I'm going to rub it on this one as I did before. Give it a good rub. Nothing on my towel. So, and same way with this blue one. I sprayed water on it. Nothing's coming off. I don't want to spray too much of it on there because I don't want to rub the fixative off. So I'm comfortable that these are set enough, fixed enough, secure enough that I can do artwork on them now without destroying too much. So I want to kind of talk about what I want to do. The theme of the journal page, as I said, is I'm So Beautiful. Well, I'm going to change that to and theme it inspiration off of this poster that I have. This is a vintage poster. I imagine it was an embroidery poster that stood up in a store display. Has a little flap here. I think part of that flap probably tore off because I think it stood like this. So, but the words up here says every woman loves beautiful things, and of course it's Royal Society embroidery package outfits of highest excellence, and it's got, you know, the workshop, the needlework on there, the embroidery. So I am going to draw inspiration from this poster. In fact, I think I'll just set it up here for now. You probably can't see it, but I can see it. You can see a corner of it there. And this is the one I think that I'm going to, unless something changes while I'm working on it, that I'm going to work on to send for swap. These two I'm going to keep. This one has modeling paste on it. It's really a rough texture, and it has that Radiant Rain. And I think I have too much blue down here. I'm going to use more Radiant Rain and bring that Radiant Rain down into here with the copper, and maybe a little bit more up here. Make that more of a copperish background. And then this one is blue, and I may put some of that Radiant Rain on here too. I have all sorts of things out here. For the one that I'm going to send, I have this doily that has sort of a red trim Battenberg lace on it. And as you can see, it's been in my stash, so it's certainly not ironed and pressed, and I'm not going to iron and press it. I'm not going to use the entire doily on it, but I do like how this corner and this corner meet the edge of the pages. And I may, don't as Claudia Rossi would say, don't judge me. I think I'm going to cut this doily right here in half so that I have half of the doily like this on it. It just depends. I'll have to decide more about it. But I found this metal piece, and this was a belt buckle, and I took the buckle off of it, and I really, isn't this pretty? Isn't it pretty? That really goes there. And do I have it in here? What did I do with it? Here. I do not spray fixative on this. I might have to take this into the other room and spray fixative on it. I think I'm going to mount this on. This was a scrap piece that I had. I had all that extra. If you watched my backgrounds journal, I had all this bead gel in there, and I got some of my dilution spray in it, so I just scraped it off onto another page. Then I sprayed it with red and everything, but this needs to be sprayed with fixative. But I like the idea of putting this on here. I don't want to, we have to leave about an inch on the left-hand side. So if I leave an inch on the left-hand side here, I also have, I have some ribbon here. This is pretty ribbon. And I might, it's got Scotch tape on it. I might dye this with some alcohol ink, maybe some watermelon alcohol ink, and put it there. Let this doily, I might go just a little bit more than a half so that it will come just a little off of the edge of the page. I like this falling off of the edge of the page. And in order to do that, I might, do I want to put the whole thing on there and let it fall off the edge of page here? Would I want to do that like this and maybe secure these on the back of the page like that? And then I wouldn't use my ribbon. I could use the ribbon, but I'm thinking now more toward doing something like that. And I have these. This is a photocopy, so I'm well within the copyright date on these. I'm going to cut out a lady, and I'm liking this blue one, but I'm not sure that I have to choose. I like the red one too, but I might have to, it's more orange than red, and it doesn't really coordinate. I kind of like the blue one, really pops here. She would pop over here too, but, and then these, this gets more into the copper orange. This would go good on here, and maybe these three over here. So I think I'm going to fussy cut these out. And I have all sorts of little things. I like the idea of using this belt buckle on here because it's a beautiful thing. And somehow I might put, maybe underneath, all women love beautiful things, or every woman loves beautiful things. Maybe I will make a tag out of this so you can lift it and read it on the back, and I'll paint the back of it. I think that's where I'm going with that. I have all sorts of things that I can add here. I've got some buttons. I've got a pretty red button that might go with this lady. I have this red ribbon I tore out too. I kind of like the idea of hanging, maybe I could thread it underneath and let the red ribbon hang out, and maybe hang a charm or something off of here. So I'm thinking along those lines. I have some coppery thread that will probably go better on the center one. I have a beautiful buckle, which may go better on the blue one because I'm getting too much on there. I have, for these others over here, I have two things. I have a cameo. You can see it's a pennant. I got it on sale. It was $5 and I got it for $4. And I have another similar one here. So I was thinking these might go good on these two. And I have other, just lots of little things. But I want to mainly work on this one because I need to get it done and ready for swap. So that's where I'm going with these. I'm going to put all my little bits and bops up here. Okay, I painted the backgrounds. I painted the backgrounds on these pages. This is the one I think I'm going to use for swap. It's red. It has that netting and the mesh on it and some text. And it's been, I showed you where I sprayed it with fixative and that dilutions is not rubbing off now. And when I painted it on the back, I painted it with a red and blue metallic. And this is the one with modeling paste. And it's been painted on the back with my worn penny, and I left some of this other drippage from when I did the background page. I really like that look. But on here, I think I'm going to take some of this Radiant Rain. That's this gold coppery in here. And do some more along the blue and maybe a little bit more in the red. So I'm going to do that. And then this is the blue one. And this just has Mod Podge and the glass bead gel with dilutions. And then I sprayed it with fixative. When I spray it with fixative, it takes a little of the shine away. But I guess that's to be expected. And then I painted it blue metallic on the back, which has a beautiful shine to it. I might put some Radiant Rain on this one. These two are going to stay in my stash. The fast forward for this video will be very fast. I just wanted to give you a sense of how I created the pages. I will go into more detail on both pages in the show and tell, which is coming up next after this segment. I start out by putting Radiant Rain on both of the pages that I'm going to keep, and I've set those aside to dry. Now I'm just additioning where I want everything on the page for swap. I decide that I'm going to put that doily mostly on the back of the page, and I flap the edges over to the front. Here I'm attaching the doily with glossy accents. By the way, that lace around the doily is called Battenberg lace. You can see I'm putting the glossy accents around the edges of the tape lace that goes around the doily. And then I flap the edges around to the front. I do that because I want most of the texture on my background page to show through. Plus I want the texture of the doily. Here I'm attaching a button and gluing down the lady that I fussy cut out and attaching that metal buckle with the butterflies on it. Here I'm attaching the button. The button has some metallic thread that I'll be stringing beads through. I'm working on my tag. I think that I'm going to use some K & Company ephemera on it. I have a metal nail file that's just been sitting around, and I use a tag sticker to form her skirt. That tag sticker has some of that metallic thread through it too. I do not like the stark white of the doily, so I'm toning everything down with watermelon alcohol ink on both the front and the back of the doily. And then I'm edging the entire border of the page with this gold screen printing ink. Just beautiful. And I like it so well that I'm also putting it in spots on both the front, and you'll see I do it on the back of the page too. Just fussing with the page. And I'm working on the tag, putting that gold ink on the tag so everything coordinates. Here's where I'm putting all that gold ink on the back of the page. Now I'm attaching down, I strung some extra beads on the metallic threads of that tag. Now I'm preparing text. The text is going to read, "Every woman loves beautiful things." I'm using tiny type to form the words. And then what I'll do is I wet my needle with some water and I trace around each word. And that water, where the needle traces around the words, will weaken the page, which enables me to tear it out in the shape of the word. And I do that for each word. Very good technique when you're just forming a quote one word at a time, using one character at a time, one text label. Here I'm gluing all my words down. I've additioned them how I want them, and attaching the tag to the back. I use some vintage ink around the border of the pages, and I do tone that down later with more of that gold screen printing ink. So now I'm working on my keeper page, the keeper page is the page that I keep for myself. I fussy cut out a lady and I use a tatted doily, and I prepare my quote the same way. Every woman loves beautiful things. I'm using my needle to trace around the words, weakens the paper around the words, and that just enables me to tear those quotes out, the words of the quote, just like I want them. Now I'm attaching everything down. I use glossy accents. Really like how this page came out. I have some ginger, they're called snaps, they're colored ginger, and I attach those to the right hand side of the border, and they have little prongs that stick through to the back, so I cover that up with washi tape and a strip of lace. I don't like the stark white of that lace, so I will tone it down with blue alcohol ink, and then I'm just making a journaling spot, a tag that's a journaling spot where I'll document the page. I will edge that tag with the gold ink. I put a little bit of tatted blue lace through it. Now I'm edging the entire page with gold, and I'm done. These are the finished journal pages. This part of the video will be a show and tell, where I will show you some close-ups of both of the pages, and I will go into a bit more discussion on how the pages were created. Hi there. They're finished. And good thing, because this one needs to be mailed tomorrow. This is the journal page that I'm going to swap. The theme was I'm so beautiful, but I keyed off of the word beautiful and made it every woman loves beautiful things. So here it is. As a close-up. What I really like about this page was you saw me create the background, and I'm not sure how much of this texture you can see. If I hold it up really close and if the camera focuses, you have the texture of the metal, which of course is an painted enameled metal, and then you have the texture of this wire mesh or the string mesh, and then the fine texture in here of the net mesh and the paint as it went over up in this corner, the paint on that net mesh. I don't know if you can see that right in there. And then each layer that I added, the texture of this doily was another layer. And the ink on the doily and the button and the beads add another, the beading here on this metal thread adds a texture, and the layer of the words. So this is very much a texture page. I'm really happy with how this turned out, and I really hope that my swap partner likes it. And then on the back, you have more texture because you have that entire doily on the back, and you have all this gold, that gold screen printing ink. And then you have some glass bead gel here. And you can see where I had drawn black around the edge of my tag, and then I went over that again with more of that gold. So the black border is there, but it's been enhanced with the gold over it, so it's not so stark. And then I put gold in I have that red background, but I smeared gold in the little spaces in there. And then you have the texture of the doily, the Battenberg lace on the doily. This was a little fingernail file that was a lady, and she was just sitting in my junk drawer. I thought she'd go perfect on here because she's got a red dress. She's holding a champagne or a wine glass. And then I used a tag as her skirt. And I documented everything down here in the corner. So yes, my journal page is documented. Please take note of that. And I'm thinking that if she wants to bind this into a journal, that there's enough space here that she can do that on the left side. Even if she has to maybe use a crocodile and get the page is fairly weight. I want to say it's not heavy, but it's a fairly thick page, and it's a very textured page. So this is the one that I'm going to send for swap. The front. And the back. I really, really do love this gold screen printing ink. I did go look for screen printing ink when I was out and about today, and I found some jars with white and black, but I didn't buy it because I have white gesso and black gesso. I also found a package of red, blue, green, and yellow. But it was a kit, and it was more than $20, so I didn't buy that either. But I'm keeping my eye out for more speedball screen printing ink because I do want to use that. I do want to experiment more with it. I'm just having all sorts of fun with this gold that I got at a clearance bin. So this is the one that's going for swap. Now, I have one here that I created for myself because whenever I create an art journal page for swap, I like to create a similar one for myself. And on this one, I used a tatted square that I had, and I put it behind the lady who has sort of like a coppery dress on. This is that blue background that has the glass bead gel in the back. And oh, look at that. Isn't that cool? I don't have this one as decorated as much. I used some snaps that had little prongs on it, and I poked them through my paper here. I do like that. I like how they accent the page. And look at this Radiant Rain copper in here. I just love that. Just love it. And I used this cameo on it. This cameo has these little sparklies around there, except for it's missing one right down in here. So I used it on my page. I don't care if it's missing a sparkly. Sometimes we are all missing sparklies. So this is the one I'm keeping for myself. It has the same every woman loves beautiful things. And then the back is fairly simple on this one. It's got just blue metallic paint with my gold border around there. And then I created a tag. I used copper paint on that text, and then I smeared it with some of that gold screen printing ink, and then I just documented. I have a little tatted, crocheted strip that I just found in my bits and bops, and I used that for in the tag as a string. And over here I had some washi tape that I put there, and I covered it with a white lace, but I didn't like how stark that white was against the blue and the black, so I took some alcohol ink and toned that lace down. You can see it better here. So it's pretty simple on the back for mine, but that's okay. It just gives me an extra page to put in my journal. And I think I'm going to have to start creating a journal for this. Let's see, I have 2 for January and my own, so there's 3 for January. In February we didn't have one, so I've already received mine from my swap partner, so I've got that one, so there's 4, and then I'll have this one 5. So I'm ready to start putting these in a journal. So I think I've already decided what I'm going to do for the cover of this, so maybe in one of my future videos I'll be doing a journal and putting these in a journal. Because I'm ready to start doing it. These are 8.5 by 5.5. It's just a regular copy size sheet of paper, only this is not copy paper, but if you would take a 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper and fold it in half and cut it in half, you would get 5.5 by 8.5. So that's how we're getting the size for these journal pages. This is not a size that I typically work on. Generally, I really enjoy working on larger size journal pages, probably because I have so much that I want to do on them. So, but it's a challenge. It's fun to challenge yourself to work on different sizes and with different themes, and work according to the theme that somebody else enjoys, not just what you enjoy. So I'm not sure that I would have picked this theme, but now that they did, I'm really glad they did, because I drew off of that poster that I showed you earlier in the video. What I drew off of that mostly was Every Woman Loves Beautiful Things, and of course the deco style woman, the vintage woman, was reminiscent of that poster, and maybe the doily here and the doily there. So thank you for watching, and I hope that you've enjoyed watching me create these pages. And if you have, please subscribe to my channel, and I will see you on the next page.